was released first on January 31st of 2017. And then it was put on to DVD on February 14th, aka Valentine's Day of 2017, along with the re-release of The Adventure Begins and Whale of a Tale. I'm not going to do that anymore. That's a little creepy, but yeah. I apologize. I got some flack for ear raping you guys last week, so I apologize about that. But anyways, yeah, like I said earlier, released digitally on the 31st of January and released onto DVD on Valentine's Day, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, let's get into it here. So this is the first Thomas and Friends DVD for 2017, and it is one of the only 3. There were 3 new releases put out for this year, and then after that, we're done, which is kind of sad, but whatever. So at the top there, the Thomas logo. Turn on the side. Extraordinary Engines, really cool logo. I like that a lot. There's actually a lot on this cover. So up there we got I believe that's the Airship. The Zeppelin, that's the right name for it. We got Thomas and Hugo at Arlesborough Harbor with the lighthouse. There's the whale from Toad and the Whale. There's Skiff, Judy, and Jerome. And if you look right back there behind the pirate ship is Daisy. That's pretty cool. See, this cover is actually pretty cool. There's this little sticker here that was actually on the shrink wrap when I got this. 6 never-before-seen adventures. I got this brand new from FYE back in 2021, I believe. So yeah, I believe I got it alongside Wild Water Rescue and Pop Goes Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's actually a pretty common release to find there. I think at my local one, there are about 3 or 4 there, so it's a pretty common release. It did not come with a slipcover. That's unfortunate. The days of slipcovers are unfortunately behind us. There we go. Hit logo, Thomas and Friends logo, Extraordinary Engines, Thomas DVD, Universal. On the back, propel into adventure with the logo again. There's your little description there. We got Harold and Captain, and there is Skip and Tom Hat. Once again at the harbor. And down here in our bonus features, we have a couple of screenshots. These are, I believe, from the songs. Let's Go song and Spring is Here song. And then Railway Fun with Thomas. That is just like the bonus features and such. So that's like calling all engines. Let me look on the wiki here. I didn't actually watch that because I didn't feel like it. Let's see. Calling All Engines, Belle and Harvey, The Earl's Quiz, The Afternoon Tea Express, Toad and the Whale, and Jobs. Landmarks of Sodor, Sodor Search and Rescue Center, Fat Controllers, Tales, Toad, Learn with Thomas, Life Lesson, Everyone is Useful, and Mr. Perkins Railway, Different Engines. So, yeah, kind of like with Ultimate Friendship Adventures last week, there are no bonus features that play during the release. They're all in this little segment, which is a bit strange, but whatever. And then there's all your stuff down there. There's the disc. We got artwork back for a little bit, but this is the very last Thomas DVD ever in the US to have artwork on the disc, not counting the Magic Railroad Blu-ray released in 2020. And then there's this little advertisement here. It's highlighting the Mega Bloks line, and yep, on that side as well. So, oh well, I wish they would have promoted like the Wooden Railway toys or the Trackmaster toys or Adventures toys. That would have been really cool to get, but whatever. So yeah, what episodes are on here? Well, we have Engine of the Future, not Engine to the Future. Henry in the Dark, The Missing Breakdown Train, Hugo and the Airship, 3 Steam Engines Gruff, and Skiff and the Mermaid. So we'll go through the episodes here. Engine of the Future. Yeah, this episode is so boring. It's probably the most basic plot for a new series episode, and Hugo, he just looks incredibly out of place and awkward on Sodor. I mean, it's called Extraordinary Engines, and I guess that's kind of what they were going for, but his design is so uncanny. I mean, it's accurate to his basis. They just stuck a face on him, but the way it, like, protrudes out, like, on the render there looks so awkward. The Wooden Railway model here is actually not that bad. Well, the model itself is questionable, but the way the face is handled... Sorry, let me get in frame. There we go. The frame or the face is actually handled quite well. Doesn't look as awkward. I believe that's probably because of like the magnets here, but whatever. It's still an interesting model. Yeah, Hugo, no real personality outside of him having a propeller. I mean, he's worried, I guess. I don't know. It's not a horrible episode, but out of all the Burner era episodes, this and its like second part or sequel are the ones that I never go back to. It's the most basic, bland episode. It's gonna get a 5 out of 10. Alright, Henry in the Dark. It's a fine episode. I like that Henry wasn't reduced to being the warrior character, and he looks really cool in that paint, if I'm going to be honest, but the engines, I hate when they do this in the CGI series, but the engines all act blind. How the hell could they not tell that was Henry, especially at like the sheds and such? I kind of get it for Thomas and James at the beginning because Henry was very far away, and they couldn't really tell it was him. So I kind of get it there, but Gordon went right next to Henry. How could he not tell who it was? Yeah, the scary bits could have actually been pretty scary for the audience if they didn't show Henry getting repainted. I know the Unlucky Tug made a video or touched on that in one of his videos a while back, but this episode is not scary at all. It could have been, but it's not. Yeah, it's fine. 7 out of 10, I guess. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. I appreciate that we get a Henry episode again. And this is actually his last episode ever in the series, which is kind of sad, but oh well. It's fine. Not as good as Henry Gets Expressed by a long shot. Alright, the Mystic Breakdown Train. This episode is great. I love that Judy and Jerome were given their own episode and not forgotten. They kind of get forgotten in later seasons. Like, they don't really talk or do anything. They're just kind of like background characters, but it's so cool that they're there. It never really registered with me until The Adventure Begins came out that the Breakdown Train itself hadn't been in the series since season 12, so it was nice to see it again, complete with faces and such. Yes, I know Rocky existed throughout the entire Miller CGI era, but the physical or the actual breakdown train itself hadn't been seen in a while. I really wish we could have gotten some more merchandise of him. We got a Jerome Trackmaster 3-pack, but I would have liked to have seen more. Maybe like a Daisy and Judy pack, but oh well. Excuse me. I also like how Ryan is the main engine in this episode. I guarantee you if this episode was to be released in the Miller era, Thomas or James or Percy or even like maybe Edward would have taken them around, so that was very refreshing to see 3 new characters all interact with each other. I appreciate that. Overall, great episode. One of the funniest from the whole series. Or not the whole series, the season, excuse me. I might say the series as well. Yeah, it's hilarious. Excuse me. Sorry. The only part of the episode that I'm not a huge fan of is the bathroom poop humor. I hate that, and I can't believe that was a thing for a little while in Thomas. But whatever, that's just gonna get knocked down a point. So 9 out of 10. Hugo in the Airship. Again, another extremely boring episode, but I'd say this one is worse. Did Hugo seriously think he could actually jump the hill and fly? I mean, that did happen in season 22 with Thomas, but physics are not apparent in that series, so it doesn't matter here. But they are here, so I guess it's kind of realistic. The only memorable thing about this episode is when they use skiff as a gag. Otherwise, extraordinarily forgettable. I just watched this last night, and I don't even remember anything about it, so 4 out of 10. Alright, 3 steam engines gruff. This episode is really bad. Probably one of the biggest punches in the face to some classic characters. Percy and Toby are such wimps here, it's ridiculous. It hurts even more for Percy because throughout Tale of the Brave, season 18 and such, he grew as a character. He wasn't scared as easily as he used to be, but here, nope, completely reverted back to it. Even Toby. I mean, I expected this from Toby, but not really Percy. I don't really know who this story could have worked with if we were to change the characters, I was going to say Bill and Ben and Timothy, but that wouldn't work because Bill and Ben wouldn't be scared of that. I don't know. Who cares? The only positive I can say about this episode is that it's the first episode since season 9 to have Trevor had a speaking line in, which is a bit crazy to think about. He's one of those characters that seems to have been in the series pretty consistently, like Birdie or Harold, but he really only appeared in like season 2, a little bit of season 3, a few cameos in like 6 and 7 and such, but no, he wasn't in the series that much. I also find it strange that his wooden rally model was introduced a lot later than a lot of the other road vehicles. I believe it was introduced 2001, which is a lot later than I would have put in it. I would have put it probably like mid-90s, but no. Yeah, other than that, terrible episode. The animation is also extremely weird. Like, the scene where all three of them are crossing the bridge, like I reenacted back there, the shading is really weird. Like, the lighting could have, like, everything could have looked really cool if it was just rendered properly, but the lighting on the engines and the texturing is really subpar and kind of lackluster. So, 2 out of 10. It's really bad. But we're going to bounce back to a great episode. We got Skiff and the Mermaid here. The humor is fantastic, and I absolutely love the pairing of Skiff and Stratum Hat. This feels like it came directly out of Season 5. I bet you if Skiff was introduced back then, David Mitton would have had an absolute field day with him and this episode. I don't hear many people talking about this and how great it is, but they really should because it's an extraordinary episode. One of the most underrated of the entire season and probably of the whole series. But when people talk about it, they usually do praise it. So we'll give it a 9.5. It's probably the best episode on this DVD. I'd say along with The Missing Breakdown Train and maybe Henry in the Dark. Those are the only episodes that I would go back and rewatch. But the rest, nah. This DVD is extraordinarily skippable. It's very forgettable. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I don't want to go back and watch it again because it's not that interesting. But to make it interesting, we're going to change some stories. So, what I find a bit interesting is that this is called Extraordinary Engines, but 2 of the episodes don't feature engines as the main characters. Skiff and the Mermaid features Skiff, and he's a boat, and The Missing Breakdown Train, I guess you could say Ryan's the main engine, but it's focusing on Judy and Jerome, so let's take out those 2, and we're going to also take out 3 steam engine scrap because that episode is garbage, and we're going to put in the small railway engine episodes, those being Tit for Tat, Mike's Whistle, and Useful Railway, because they are indeed extraordinary engines, so I thought that'd be kind of fitting. Don't worry, I will put on the other 3 back on another DVD in the future, but we'll see what happens there. But anyways, that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to talk about this. It's very by the book. It kind of feels like they had to put this out. It's not like they wanted to put this out. It just feels very subpar to me, and I don't know if that's because we're almost at the end of the series or what, but oh boy, whatever. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode here. I know it was a bit of a shorter one, but I just kind of want to get this done with because I just want to get it done with. I don't have to have a reason, Dad. God. But yeah, next week is going to be the last episode, and we're covering Christmas on Sodor. I will say now, it is miles better than this. That's an absolutely wonderful DVD to end things on. So, yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.